Welcome to the Adjunct CEO Podcast with your host, the Adjunct CEO, Dean Akers. Tips, ideas, and interviews with top leaders to help you and your business when results matter.
Wow. I really want to thank everybody for joining us for another episode. I'm so appreciative of all the emails I got this past week after our first podcast. I know I got great listeners out there that really want some help and they're open to growing their businesses through feedback from people that have, quote, been there, done it. I got some really, again, a lot of material to bring back to you on a weekly basis. One of the things I got that was pretty interesting is I got a question on price compression. In other words, my market's so competitive, Dean, I can't, if I raise my prices or driving my margins, I can't really make money because of my pricing. So I had this particular individual that reached out. I reached back with them and I said, here's an exercise I want you to do. And everybody out there that's listening, if you feel like you have any pricing issues or competitive issues, this is a great exercise. Take a sheet of paper out of your notebook, get your pen out, and on that sheet of paper, draw three circles. And those three circles are going to be very important in a strategy for you to understand the impact of pricing and competition. So in the first circle, I want you to write your sales, the sales you have, whatever they are. If you're a big company and they're 100 million, they're 100 million. If you're a mom and pop that's doing 500 grand, write 500 grand in. The key to the first circle is your actual sales. So once you've written that, then what you want to do is you want to go to the third circle. In the third circle, you want to write what the total amount of sales in your category would have been. So if you're a little local company, and not little meaning any disrespect, but if you're a local company, it doesn't do any good to worry about what might be sold in Houston, Texas, or Seattle, Washington. You want to look in your marketplace. And there's so much data out there today to really be able to get a pretty good number. One company in particular I did, we were able to use insurance companies. We got several agents to go back to the industry, and because liability was based on top line sales for the industry, they were able to determine that the estimated sales for the marketplace was X hundreds of millions of dollars. So again, there's a lot of ways to get it, and you have manufacturers that can give it to you, but you want to get that third circle, which is the gross amount of sales that happened in your market. Now you've got the total gross market. And again, it's your market, not somewhere you want to go one day. It's your market, whatever geography it is. Then comes two more key ingredients. And this is the one where I get the uh-oh. And the next ingredient is take that first circle again with your sales. Now I want you to write in that circle how many dollars of sales you lost to competition for price, availability. The guy was married to the guy's uncle, or whatever, girl's uncle, whatever the reason is, whatever your sales team or you came back and said the reason you lost the price. Now don't start telling me how you're the best value and you give the more than anybody else, but just go there with what you've lost. 99% of the time in this stage of the exercise, I get a bunch of I thinks, it's abouts. And you're going to find out that this is a very critical number because that number plus your sales shares with you the market you play in. Then in the second circle, you want to write down the difference between the two numbers in the first circle. So your sales are, call it 10 million. And let's say you lost 50% of your sales, so that's 5 million. So there's 15 million. So the first circle totals 15 million. If the other circle, the third circle, is 100 million, then that means the second circle is just mathematically 85 million. Now that's where I get the real aha moment. Now, the reason that second circle is so important, that means in this example that $85 million worth of documentable transactions, it's just math, it's just facts, $85 million worth of business, or in this case, 85% of the business in your service territory, you lost for one reason and only one reason. You didn't lose it because of price. You didn't lose because they're on the take or whatever excuses your sales and or you come back with. You lost it because you weren't even on the deal. And when I was coaching my kids in Little League years and years ago, there was a cool thing. And we had kids that were scared to get up and bat because they were afraid they would strike out. And I said, well, if you stay in the dugout, I promise you your batting average will be 0. So just get on up there and strike out. Get up there and strike out. Well, if they get up there enough times at bat, they're going to hit one. And the best example is if you bat 300 in the major leagues, you're driving a Ferrari and living in a 10,000 square foot house. So that's 3 out of every 10 times you get a hit. Now, why is that important in sales? When you make all the self-talk excuses of price and everything else, and the math points to that 85 transactions out of 100 you lost because you didn't even know about it, then comes the real question. How do you get on those deals? So you want to be able to get on those deals for the 85 out of 100, and you can see where small movement there can change your world, because we established even at 10 million, you had a 10% market share, which quite frankly for most businesses is a huge market share. And yet we could see visibility to increasing it by 10, 15 full percentage points. So you're talking about doubling and tripling your sales just by getting on deals. You were closing 2 out of every 3. You're just not on the deals. If you had that same closing ratio for the other 85 million, just think about that number. It's a crazy number. It's 50 plus million. So the goal is to get on deals. So in this show, the exercise I want you to take home with you today is, am I on the deals? When you're meeting with your sales force and they tell you about how competitive it is, say, fine, bring me the lost sales. Go out and lose deals. My big deal with my sales forces over the years are, just go bring me lost sales. Bring me lost sales. I want you to lose deals. Now you say, why would that matter to pricing? In one case, I raised our price 25%. 25%. My sales force looked at me like I was crazy. And they said, 25% will never get any deals. And I said, exactly. Because when you come back and you lost a sale because of price, I might believe you. But here's the key. I want you to go out there. I want you to get on the deal. And I want you to give a price that's 25% higher. And then I want you to lose it. But when you give the price, don't stutter. Don't apologize. Just give them a confident price and say, we're ready to go to work. And then see what happens and just shut up. So that's my tip for today, is do the 3 circles first. Do the 3 circles first, and that's going to show you mathematically where your real opportunities are. And once you do that and you have that number, and by the way, email me at help@adjunctceo.com, help@adjunctceo.com, your 3 circles. If you want to take a picture of it and send it in to me, and I'll either call you back or give you some advice on it, or we'll talk about it on the air, not your specific company, but give advice on the air. I can promise you when you do that exercise, you're going to get an aha moment. In our next episode, we're going to talk about, once you have that math done, how do you now start positioning your team and or yourself to get more business at a higher price with more margin and more profitability. So again, thank you for joining me. And boy, thank you for all the emails this last week. It really means a lot to me that the listeners out there are engaged. It means a lot for me to be able to give back. And I've been meeting with a number of people that have listened to the show in my Tampa Bay area and helping them out. And so if you ever have a question, just reach out to help@adjunctceo.com, and we'll be glad to help you. And we've got other experts that can reach out and help you also.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. If you have any questions or need some help, just email help@adjunctceo.com. Thanks for tuning in.